Studies show 90% of decisions are made emotionally, yet most founders lead them pitch with logic and lose the deal before then pitch even get to the good part. Now imagine your ideal investor or hospital decision leader. They already heard dozens of pitches today. Yours? It only got 30 seconds before they decide if they wanted to keep listening. Founders, how often are you tailoring your pitch based on each person's buyer persona and adding the right persuasive elements? Today, we're breaking down a live coaching session with a caregiver founder on how to turn real story and credibility to be the initial hook to get that deal to a yes. Welcome to Provider's Edge, the podcast that helps healthcare entrepreneurs and innovators break down barriers and control their business, life, and future with valuable action steps. With me, your host, Sabrina Runbeck, a recovered clinician and a business deal catalyst. Let's rewrite the rules and create a positive social impact while increasing your profitability. All right, AJ, so we'll have you first up, and would you like to share screen and then give me a 2-minute pitch, and then we'll go over the deck that you sent over, okay, and then give you some specific feedback.
Absolutely. Let me share my screen here.
And then I'll put a 2-minute timer on the screen so you have a sense of gauge easier.
Great. Sounds good. Thousands of people die and millions are harmed every year due to medication error. Take, for instance, my grandmother, Graciela. She's 97 and has left her aging eyesight and memory on what to take and when to take it. And because of this, she has been hospitalized 3 separate times from overconsumption of a prescription. Now, while she has thankfully survived, 125,000 people a year do not, with caregiver turnover rates reaching 90%, particularly in the Southeast. And 70 million people set to be over 65 by 2030. These problems aren't going away anytime soon. I'm AJ from Wilmington, North Carolina, and this is Care Home Health Solutions, where we create risk-preventative smart devices for seniors. And we do that through the Graciela device. The Graciela is an automatic pill and water dispenser that ensures timely medication intake. It sends notifications directly to a caregiver's phone via our Care Circle app, where they can edit medication schedules, view compliance rates, and view history reports of what was taken and what was missed. We've conducted hundreds of customer discovery interviews at this point and found that 70% of respondents say they've experienced medication error within the last year. Our go-to-market strategy is to begin with informal caregivers, the 41 million unpaid individuals taking care of friends and family at home, and upon scale will gravitate our strategic efforts at building relationships with senior care facilities. We're currently seeking $250,000 in a fundraise to build product development, hire a team of all-stars, and provide legal assistance and guidance and protection for us as we get closer to a commercial level. We have a pilot program set up for this year, and we want to be in a position where we can provide the best access to health as possible. Thank you very much. All right. So I'll show you the format of what we use and discuss with you the scoring we use for the A persuasive element. And then we talk about each segment of what the pitch that you did really well, things that worked, things that we can improve on, and then some final notes. Okay. Great. Yeah, I'm going to get my notes up. So we do a persuasive score is that there's a different elements of connecting with people as well as getting them buy-in. Mm-hmm. And when we play into these psychological pillars, then we help people to see what is it that they're needing to hear from us, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a different elements that we kind of tap into, and you got to score
about 80. One of the things that we wrote as a company is a close the deal playbook. So it's all focusing on how do we use the best practices and then the different psychological buyer and then formatting to close more deal. And those deals, it could be you're doing an investor, right? You need to close that deal to get a check. Or it could be a pilot, which ACO, clinic-based or hospital system that is interested enough that we're talking in their language so they can say, hey, okay, this is next person. Let's start a pilot.
Sure.
Or as you start expanding, I know right now you guys very early stage, right? Mm-hmm. But the more that you expand, you start thinking about, hey, do I want a co-founder with me? Do I want another executive to help me? Then we're speaking in the language to close that deal for that hire, and they're not leaving us in a couple months where they don't see the true alignment, right?
Right.
What I haven't heard that much is I like that you mentioned yourself, not in the beginning, but after you have said the story, then showing, hey, this is AJ so-and-so, right? Yeah. What it could be good is adding a little bit about your credibility or whoever is building this tech with you, their credibility.
Okay.
So from a human capital standpoint, I always care about if the founder themselves is not the tech person, who is the CTO, right? And then if the founder is, there's 3 persona really. So you have an innovator, right? So that innovator is the brain behind making the product. Then you have a promoter who is also good at strategizing, right? So that means that I wanted to see who's the actually business brain behind the company. Right. When we have too many scientists, we're like, oh yeah,
not many salespeople.
Right? Yeah, like they're geeks out there, right? They're cool. But do they know how to make sense of the brand and market and then put it into the right people's hands? Then we also care about who are the doers, right? Who's the great people that actually implement. So we're not like dreamers and dreaming so big out there, and then we talk the talk, but we can't deliver, right? Right. So I would say most of the time, I like to see that dynamic of the 3 pillars. You do show the market size, right? Mm-hmm. Could make it a little bit of clear on segmentations, and we do see many different caregiver solutions start coming out of the pipeline, right? For sure. So how come this one is the most, perhaps the easiest, maybe could be adaptable, right? Like we always talk about in medicine is accessibility and then user adaptability, right? How you get to the right hands who care enough to actually use it, right? Simplicity, I think it's plain, it's good. Right? We're not adding extra things like, just smart pills and water dispenser. You know exactly where people are at, right? Differentiator, I wonder if we can, bottle-free pill. I wonder if we can say something just to add what else is out there, right? There are pill dispenser trackers where other people has a pill bottle. When they pour out the pills, they record how much is poured out, right?
Glow caps, yeah.
Yeah. And then, but the question we always have is, even though you can record the pills that being removed from the bottle or the system, how do you guarantee that is all definitely consumed, right? Right. So some different way of recognizing what's out there, but how are you a step up from that? And the way I think it is, the device, there's the cost for the device and there's the monthly subscription. Now, something people are going to be asking is, are you going to somehow get an insurance company to be able to cover that, right? Mm-hmm.
So that's absolutely a priority.
Right. So that's going to be something about this can clarify how you're going to go to market for people to be willing to pay a $450 for the device and the monthly subscription, right? So, and that means there's the socioeconomic challenges when some of the elderly are don't have that much pension for themselves. So, right. So then people are going to think about what's the subset of category of people that have family members who are willing to pay, or elderly themselves are willing to pay for this when insurance is not covered.
Right. Yeah. Our target customer is different than the user. The customer would be the caregiver themselves. Right. So, I mean, we don't foresee seniors, but I mean, they could very well if they live alone and they're self-sufficient. So, yeah.
Right. Now, caregivers themselves,
be like friends and family, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there's, again, this socioeconomic challenge is still going to be there, right?
Yeah,
usually they spend a lot of money if family live at home versus a senior living facility. There's the cost and all the medication costs into it. And on top of that, now we're adding a device. So think somehow a different way, or what's the subset of people you think can definitely afford this? I think you're already doing a really good job. We're just doing refinement now, right?
Sure.
And then third is we're going to put together a mini advisory board for you based on who we think you can meet on stage versus who we think you can meet after the event to even reinforce those relationships. So that one, you can apply to that one. Just submit 200 words of what is it that you're focusing on, why you needed to start meeting decision makers or even investors to be able to get to the next quarter or 2 quarter goals, right?
Okay.
So I'll show you really quickly where that is. I think in your email, I might have already shown you that we're giving you guys
the health tech showdown.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So once you apply, so this is the health tech showdown. It's like, really it's about like a lot of time we just talk to a lot of good people, right? But if these good people cannot really get us to the next phase, means they are in our sphere, they might be in healthcare investment, or they might have programs, right? Senior care. But if they're not ready and looking for the solution, then we have to convince them this is something that they want, right? So you say, how do we get to the right people faster, right? So that's why we take on the matchmaking and also give people a quick heat index to say how viable, sustainable, and scalable is your company. And we add you to our list of trusted startups that we evaluated. And then at the end, we can also send your deck and your videos and things introduced to the 900 investor relationship we have. And I'm also part of a ventures out in New York. So our next third round of funds going to open up in June. So that is usually a $150K for 6% of equity of the company. How do you create any one form of long-term content as you start doing this, and then create an amplification across website, social, email, and then even nurturing campaign when people come to you, right? So it becomes that market strategy spiral, we call it. So it doesn't matter if you end up thinking, oh, someone on your team is really good at SEO. It's not just that one article anymore, right? You are thinking about how else to really use it and not constantly worry about what am I going to say, right? There's a lot of writing or creating and graphic that's going into it.
Sure.
Yeah. So I would say those would be probably the 2 best support that I can give you at the stage you guys right now.
Right.
And then how do you feel about this support versus the showdown?
This seems a lot more, involved, and obviously it is. That's exactly what it is. So, no, I love it. I mean, this is any support I can get and help better position myself. I'm all for.
Awesome. I will send you the link for both of them.
And
Yes, please.
like to chat with someone on our team about which one is a better fit for you?
I think I might start with the showdown, to be honest, and then gravitate toward. I mean, they're both, great resources. I think it's just going to depend on the time that I can allocate.
Now, let's quickly summarize what have we focused on today. Number one, emotional storytelling builds instant trust with your counterpart. AJ's story of his 97-year-old grandma was both heartbreaking and relatable. Exactly the type of original story that emotional anchors a startup's mission and makes investors and decision makers pay attention. Because we are always doing business with people, and emotion are the true number one driver for making decisions, despite how logical we think we all are. Number two, there are 5 buyer types, and each needs a tailored message. And if you don't know which buyer type they are, then include all of them. Most founders pitch everyone the same way, but close the deal with different stakeholders. You have to know if you're talking to the producer who are detailed into data, the directors who care about strategy, the star who care about traction, and the crew member who care about culture, or the stunt double who care about disruptors. Thanks to my friend Kathy, who is an expert in sales, who analyzed these 5 buyer persona. Number 3, you must lead with founders' credibility, especially as a solopreneur who, in the early stage, you might have great advisors, but at the end of the day, you're the only one who's doing everything. Therefore, every decision maker and investors needs to know that you are not just a first-time founder, you have experience in building business. And even you don't, you have to have the people in your corner who truly understand what growth and scalability means, and why you are the person to truly solve the problem that you're meant to solve. AJ's experience scaling a restaurant group and training senior, adding serious credibility, which he actually didn't mention until I have to pull that out of him. But it is something that he can continue to build on based on who he is. Number 4, market fit clarity is non-negotiable. Selling to informal caregivers, now the senior, is a strategic move for sure. But you also cannot stop there. You need to know who in that group can actually afford the solution that you're offering as the primary buyer, not just the end user. Number 5, differentiate like your business depends on it, because it does. Most small pill dispensers track pill removal. So how can you come up with a better way? With AJ's device, it goes further than that, helping to confirm ingestion and integrating hydration reminders. And that's the winning zone in the market. I also mentioned his device expertise and unique ability is in the easiness of movement. Therefore, movement disorder makes a lot more sense than dementia, which is more of a mental health disorder, which is a mental health disorder about memory. So make sure you're matching the easeability toward the product with the right subcategory of people who has certain diseases. Number 6, feedback isn't just mirroring, it's your multiplier. AJ came for constructive critic with me, but left with a rewritten, sharpened pitch. When founders get that level of insight, they stop spinning their own wheels and start building real momentum. As founders, I would love to ask you which part of your personal journey could become a powerful part of your pitch story. And for everybody else who are leaders in the healthcare space, we often have an initiative that we need to get buy-in from our team members, from the end user. So which one of the 5 buyer type, producer, director, star, crew, or stunt double, do you usually forget to pitch to?
Thank you for tuning in to Provider's Edge podcast. We hope you enjoy our latest episode and found the insights and tips helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback on the show and learn what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. So please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and let us know what you think. Your feedback is essential to help us improve the show and provide you with the content you need to take your healthcare business to the next level. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.